Here in my later days, heavy with the weight of time upon my back, I sometimes dwell in the past, see another man, younger, looking at the setting sun, checking the horizon for a hint of stars. The evening's cool, no clouds in that early June. He stands looking to the sky, short dark hair, full kit heavy in anticipation, his smile broad, a slightly raised eyebrow taunting the lens. Youth's folly. In Lincoln's fields he moves away, takes up his place behind the gun, checks all is well within his glassy cage. It will be a cold one tonight, he mutters, checking his rotation, aiming the barrels at a skylark high above the sedge. He sits alone as I sit now, and thinks of the future as I think of the past. His stomach sick with the dread of flight, for real, each night fight for life. When death comes, he hopes it will be quick. Between the eyes is best, not engulfed in flames or sucked out into raging skies, nor diving headlong, trapped by gravity with screaming boys. I see him clamber out unaided back to the mess. Nothing has allayed his fear, no one retracts the orders from above. His crewmates sleep in chairs discarded on the grassy plains, or whittle wooden things in the cold half-light. Some play cards, drink tea or stare across the tarmac to the waiting kites. No one speaks. All is silent. The foreboding breeze brings promise of another flight. When daylight fades, perhaps their last. Surreal in the gloom of waiting, a telephone rings, a sickening alarm. We move across the grey-blown grass to the bombers, stretched like Christs towards the great North Sea and lands beyond. Making light of things, banter cheap as whatness, which we crave as we struggle into flying jackets, climb the steps, to inch along the fuselage to take our place. Harnesses, buckles, scrape shins, tie specs, metal walls. Time was lost on us then. I remember last-minute mutterings from the boss. The shudder as engines ignited us into war. The smell of exhausted hope fused our spirits. All clear came. We lined up. Through the void, I stopped for a second. Echoes of white noise, sitting at my window in Maidstone. A smell of burning. The road is quiet. Him or me? My sister smiling. Perhaps it's early closing. As the end came quickly, I glanced briefly at my reflection in the dead television screen. Between my eyes, my face gone. My face somber, serious, old. Job done. Nein Schadenfreude. I'm back in the Lanc. Out of a dusky light, Lincoln spreads beneath. I see wider roads, wider ditches, fences and backyards. The city shut down, not a light to be seen. A river, glassy, slow, our reflection briefly shown. We climb, and I hear the engines rev. Just to the west, the cathedral passes by. Soon we are over water, though the sky is deeper than the sea. Alone in the tail, I am swallowed by the dark. We climb higher into the cold, moon-rich sky. All is calm. The formation spreads and the droning song of intent draws us through channels of far-flung clouds. The static hisses in our ears, comments on the flight. Checks made, navigational adjustments set. Someone makes a pun. I wave to another gunner on our port side, but vision is poor. He's playing a ghostly mass, now clear, now smudged as the sea clouds buffer and shroud between episodes of moonlight. Comes the call. We have company. Gentle, assured, stiffening my mind. I look above, below, ask for a position, squint with desperation into the absent light. 109s, outnumbered here but dangerous in such space. Davids amongst Goliaths, but still they try. Though I can't see them until somewhere over the starboard wing I catch a flash of fire. Trails of vibrant light, dull ratcheting drills of venom. The sky lit to daylight briefly as up it goes, too close for comfort. Caught by little Doris as he attacked from the stern. But she is hit. Strange hemorrhage of oily smoke distorted by the airflow mocks her starboard engines when flames take hold. Down we go together. No fluidity of thought. We are all in this, in a level space, gasping as the roar of wind sprays fuel on our skins and angry sparks crinkle our bodies. This is what we have become. Scared boys from lost lands falling together, breathless before we hit the drink. Sinews, cells, bone, blood, remnants of dreams scattered on the raging air, miles from home with no resting place but the rush of water, cold and dark. I hear the concerns of our boys and watch helplessly as she tips away from us, away into the dark above the cold rolling sea. We feel their panic, the hurried orders, desperation immense no training can prepare for this. The unbuckling fumble and scramble for the open door, and all against the weight of fall, the bombs bearing down. Clouds cleared, I remember, and still we saw her fall out of the sky, away from us, hoping she could ditch, but the descent too severe, hoping for 7 shoots, but none appeared. The rule was gone in 20 seconds, with not a word said more. Each man alone with his thoughts, a strange communion with a promised death. My parents' tears, my sister lost while the light fades in my room, and I enjoy the intrusion of an ending day. Dreams of an eternal life infused my veins even unto the void. On my mantle, photographs smile at me. Even unto the strange meeting with the 7. My wife, sons, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. As we danced in the cold night air, grinning awkwardly at our follies, I could have fallen through the sky, and then they would not be there. Our belief in the cause, submission to flattery, we thought we shone like gods. This visitation to the past troubles me, piercing the air with weight and speed and thrust. I turn on a lamp to warm my thoughts. Laying our lives bare, both us and them, to a brave new world. Approaching Hamburg and the flak begins. The navigator, deep in the belly of the plane, hunches over compass, sextant, calculating madly against weight of responsibility, how best to avoid the lights, yet keep on track. The whole crew fuses the fear, fights the water in the gut, each man facing the task experienced of all, young men considering their fate, unseemly, hour upon hour in this dreadful war. I know Harry in the upper mid-gun searches the skies. I trace the coils of bullets back on their rails, deadly in the fuselage gloom. A flight engineer checking the rise and fall. The bomb aimer lies ahead, belly down on the floor, sight swerving and blurring in the crazy glass. Suddenly, as if from between the closing of a blink, another appears, just too far away, swerving insanely, now thin, now fat against a rippled sky. I shout too loudly, perhaps, into the intercom. "Corkscrew, port! Skipper, now!" His response lurches a zigzag as the perspex blurs and my gun fires directly ahead. But there's nothing there. I doubt myself just before he rises from beneath and his prop fans the tailplane with a dusting of fire. Now I have him in an instant with no time for thought or beckoning guilt. Though now it stings my eyes. And the button engages as his canopy explodes. I report his fate and our escape. I came in fast, I remember, without caution it seemed. They were confused at our late arrival, the guns rotating to and fro. But why? Any different, I thought. Let's get this over with. So, with a tight curve, as if herding them along, I came astern, low and fast before rising, but too close this time, far too close. Unusually, and my last view of that life, I saw his face look directly at mine. In the blinking of an eye, through the violent glare of fire, I saw him as a man I would have finished too, had he not got there first. The bomb doors open. Factory chimneys reach up like fingers. Down below they train the tubes of light into the sky. Shells explode beneath our wings, but we drop lower, lower still, and move fast, fast across the oblong roofs. Steady. 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 Now. We feel her rise against their release. The engines roar as we rapidly climb and turn for home. This now was danger time, though every second was a blessed gift. Close the doors, scan the air for spit and thrust, a rabid revenge. Target hit, brought relief, but nothing more. Back through the tunnel of night, back through the air from which I dragged, back with the others whose lives were spared, and over the sea where the others fell. Back to the gentle beaches on the Lincolnshire shores, and over the fields where the cold wind blows. Back over ancient stone, towers thrusting heavenward, ditches, rivers, dikes, meadows, quilted, spread below, a kind of homecoming softening our weary return. Back over the lonely airfield, empty of planes, back to count them in or here they've gone. Back to return again, to follow orders to cease this fight. Back with wheels intact, last checks done, sick with sleep and cold as stone. Back to the late closing of the day. I watch him stumble off the step, stretch his young body against the early breeze, walk away to bed, away from me now, getting smaller in the vague dawn light. I feel his tiredness still, extraordinary after all these years, and wonder, has it ever left me? Ever seemed more bearable than now, with photos staring at me across my room? His shelf empty, mine full. The falling men, the hurtling bombs, burning boys, stinging eyes. The old adage, we followed orders, worn to death, seemed simply futile, defenseless after the nastiness of war. It left the weight of time upon my back like a droning song, half remembered from the bar at the Royal Oak, cheery and sad, rising to the clouds in strange harmony with the song of Merlins, distorted in heavy age, a lament for the late closing of the day.